Okay, on credit cards, one of the most important tools that you have at your disposal is what they call effective rate of whatever you're paying towards your processing services for processing credit cards. So the bills that you're going to get are kind of like just like a electric bill, the gas bill, the telephone bill. You can't understand them. They're just multiple pages of so many different things. You really can't figure out what they're saying or doing. But what you can do is you can say, okay, if I know my total transaction dollars and I know my total credit card charges, cost, I'm sorry, I should say cost, not charges, total credit card charges, cost, then I have two very important tools that I can use to get what we call an effective rate. And your effective rate is something that you want to be consistent, and it should be somewhere near whatever you agreed upon when you signed up with the merchant services processor that you have. So it's very important that you get your total dollars transactions. That includes receipts or chargebacks. That includes every transaction dollar that you did. So you may have a total sales of, let's say, $10,000, but you wind up having to give back 1,000 of that for whatever reason, doesn't really matter. That means your total transaction dollars were actually $11,000. You don't go by just your sales because you're paying a fee on that $1,000 you're giving back. You're still paying the same fees. So this is your fees coming in, let's say, for business. Business going back out, you still have to pay those fees on that. So your total transaction dollars are $11,000, not 10. The same thing when you're looking for your total credit card costs. It's very, very important you look at your bill very specifically. Most of the bills will be pretty obvious what you are being charged. But then there will be some areas in there, depending on who your processor is, they may have some extra charges in there that are not blatantly obvious. One of them will be typically if you take American Express, that will almost always be a separate line item as what the fee is and what you paid. And it will have way over here on the left-hand side, typically it'll just say paid. And then over here it'll have a whole bunch of dollar amounts, and you'll see down here this total, which could be $452. So you're going to assume that this paid over here is in there. It's not. So you got to make really, really very important. You look for anything that says paid on your sheet and make sure that it's included in your total credit card processing charges cost. Because that's, again, it's a fee. And if you don't include it in your total cost, just like up here, if you don't tell it $11,000, you're saying garbage in, garbage out. That's basically what you're going to do. And your effective rate will look really good, and in reality, it's not. And the same thing here. You have to make sure that you have your total credit card cost for processing. That's very, very important.